Do you enjoy movies?
Do you enjoy adult beverages?
Do you enjoy conversations that could go off the rails at any second?
If you said yes to any of these questions, then you should check out the Films and Fermentation podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike,
We're just three friends.
who like to talk shit about movies.
While getting shit-faced. So join us every week as we discuss interesting movie topics like best ensemble films, most paused moments in cinema, and the occasional movie review, plus so much more.
When you add drinking, you have no idea where this conversations could go.
So find us on Spotify, Apple Pods, Good Pods, YouTube, or wherever you go to listen to your favorite shows. You could also visit linktree.com/films and fermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. We'll be waiting for you to join us weekly at the crossroads between pickled and fermented. Cheers.
Cheers.
Darkcast Network. Welcome to the dark side of podcasts.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of All Hallows Eve podcast. I am Jayson.
I am Reagan.
And I'm Kathy.
What was that look for?
I didn't even get to say hello.
All right, so this week we are covering Belle Gunness. Don't know much about her, but it was actually requested by a listener a while ago, right? Yeah. And Kathy decided to take the reins on this one, and we'll see how this one goes. But before that, and before everything else, we want to say thank you to everybody that has purchased merchandise or anything like that. It really does help keep this podcast going. You can visit our website at www.allhallowsevepodcast.com, and there's a merchandise link up there. You can find all of our social media tabs on there. You can listen to past episodes, and yeah, so we just want to say thank you for doing that, and if you want to support us, head on over there and check that out. So, how was your week? Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Mommy.
Oh, anybody that's listening, you know.
Well, it was kind of fun. We got to do some activities, like, we're doing the track meet. We're practicing what ones we want.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I think I want the hurdles and the what?
Girl, you want the
What?
hurdles? You can't jump 2 inches off the floor, and then you fall on your face, and you want to do the hurdles?
What? When I did them, I was good, but then I tripped myself.
Okay. Which would be normal for our daughter, right? Yeah.
And
So-
then I want to do the high jump.
Oh, God. You can't jump. What part of Reagan can't jump? Like, white girl can't jump. Don't you understand?
And then, what is it called?
I don't know. What's it called? Shot
Uh,
put?
Yeah, shot put.
Shot put.
Shot put. Whatever.
Yeah, shot put. What the hell? All right. Well, didn't you have an art gallery thing that you did this week?
Oh, yeah, I had.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Uh.
my God. Like, I totally forgot.
I did. What was it called?
The art gallery.
Yeah, the art gallery.
Jesus Christ.
And
It was for PTA. It was an art gallery that you guys did way back in the beginning of the year, right, Kathy? Yeah, it was done earlier in the year, and everybody that participated had their photos put up in a nice little art gallery, and they did a little presentation on it and gave out awards and stuff. So
Yeah.
she was one of the ones that got an award along with a couple other kids there, and she did a really good job.
I didn't like standing up on the stage.
Yeah, well, imagine standing on this stage where you have thousands of people listening.
Well, I don't care about this because they're not watching, they're listening. So,
Okay, you don't have to yell. It's all right.
sorry.
It's all right. Calm down. Calm down. So, Kathy, did you have anything going on this week? No? Yeah, me neither. It's May. Here we go. All right, so you ready to get into the news?
Yes.
What did you find? Or actually, what did your mom find that you can read?
I don't like looking up stuff.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Okay, this is what Mommy found. She found deer breaks through window of Michigan home, jumps on family's bed. It's going to take some dough and a few bucks to make window repairs to a family's home after an adventurous deer barreled through their Michigan home. The Bay County Sheriff's Office in Michigan posted about the unusual accident, noting that this was not their usual breaking and entering suspect. Police shared that at 4 p.m. on Monday, April 24th, a Mentor Township, Michigan family of 5 heard their front window smash. However, a loud crash was not from a human trespasser. It was a deer who started dashing through the family's home.
Dashing through the home.
In a one-horse open sleigh. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The family quickly enlisted the help of law enforcement and called 911. Law enforcement came and assisted the family in smoking the adventurous deer outside. After a call to 911, officers responded to assist in apprehending the suspect. The Bay County Sheriff's Office wrote in a Facebook post, Officer Austin Jobs was first on scene and was able to locate the suspect deer in the bedroom of the home. Police snapped a picture of the deer perched atop on the beds, looking alert and staring directly into the camera. The officers eventually were able to lure the deer out of the bedroom, and while blocking off all the rooms, police shared the deer zipped out of the front door and went back into the wild. The Bay County Sheriff's Office said no one was injured, and the family opted to not press any charges, adding that the family incident is proof that there is no ordinary day in law enforcement.
So they wanted to not press charges on the deer.
He's trying to find the deer to press charges. Could you imagine the law enforcement trying to find the deer to press charges?
Right? Like,
What kind of handcuffs would they put it in?
That is a good question. Ooh, make handcuffs smaller for animals.
you're right. This isn't Zootopia.
Sorry, but
Oh my god. But I've heard about that before. Them busting through glass or through a door or
Well, before this article, there's actually a video. And I clicked on the video thinking it was for this one, but it was another deer who ran through a sliding glass door in a butcher shop.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Nothing like
processed deer.
committing suicide.
Right? Jeez. All right. Well, that's fun way to. You're in a rush for that next segment, aren't you?
But it's fun.
Jesus Christ. Here, let's hurry up and get through the news so we can shock the hell out of Dad. All right. So, was there anything else that you guys wanted to add to this, or no?
No, but it's weird. A deer smashed through the window. How big was that window?
Well, they can get through like a lot of things. Like they're not, believe it or not, they're depending on if it was a doe. I mean, the window doesn't have to be that big.
What's a doe?
It's a female deer.
Oh.
Doe, a deer, a female deer. Blah 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 blah. What? What are you guys looking at? Oh, jeez. Yeah, I mean that deer isn't very big, so it could have came through any window. All right. Well, there you go. Today's weird news, brought to you by Reagan. All right.
We're not on the TV show called News.
Okay. So we are going to take a short break here, and we will be back with apparently everybody's favorite new segment.
Shock Therapy.
If you like weird, spooky, and strange history, then I have the podcast for you. My name is Brenda, and I'm the host of Horrifying History. Are you into the dark side of history? Horrifying History tells you about the side of history that people don't normally talk about. We tell the tales of haunted places, infamous true crimes, the paranormal, and unsolved mysteries, and then we look to history to see where the truth actually lies. Want to get spooky with us? Get your Horrifying History fix by subscribing today on Spotify, Spreaker, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
All right, and we are back. All right. What's the matter?
I wasn't ready.
You weren't
I evicted
ready?
the kid from my seat, and I'm not.
You're not ready? Yeah, those are the tight headphones. Sorry. So, I'm going to let you introduce this while I'm getting ready then.
So this is where we get to ask Jayson some questions,
Mm-hmm.
and if he gets it wrong, we get to shock him.
Yep. Yeah. This is everybody's favorite part of the show, except for me. So the way this works is every time I get one wrong, I get zapped. But regardless, it goes up 2 on the shock scale. So
Reagan wasn't here for that part
Yeah,
last week,
she
so
wasn't
she
here for
doesn't
that.
know the new rules.
is it working?
No, you have to turn it on.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right. Is it working? Yeah, it's working. Put it down. We don't need any preemptive shocks going on here. I wonder what would happen if I held onto the mic while you did it. Oh, let's not find out.
Well, yeah, that's not.
All right.
Reagan's quick to help you.
Oh yeah, she's all quick about strapping me into old Sparky here. And then there was a 15-second timer.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
No.
Do not push.
Jesus Christ almighty. What'd you start it out at? What's it at? 4? I think we started out at 5 last time, didn't we?
Did we?
I think so.
No, we started at 3.
Did we? Oh, so you're starting out at 5-4 now. Here, let's see how far this goes up. All right, go for it.
All right, ready?
You got to actually get into the mic.
True or false? Halloween is the largest consumer holiday in the USA.
True.
US.
Oh, is it? Was it wrong?
It's
Was
false.
it wrong? Oh, fuck me. Do it again. No. Okay. All right, it works.
It's
Yeah.
actually Christmas.
Oh, fuck. I thought it was. Yeah. Yeah, go up 2. Mm-hmm.
What was Count Dracula's original name in the Bram Stoker classic?
Oh, shit.
Oh, I didn't set the timer.
I know. I wasn't going to say anything. It wasn't Renfield.
Is that your answer?
No, that's not my answer.
You have 7 seconds.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, I don't know.
Reagan.
Ah! Jesus. Fuck me.
Count Vampire.
Count Vampire?
That was, that's actually what, I forgot which country, but that's how they pronounced vampire, or that translate means vampire.
Oh, okay. What's it at now?
Reagan.
Well, I'm not batting any.
What was the name of the famous magician who died on Halloween?
Oh, Houdini.
Oh.
Nah, no, I don't get zapped.
But you do get
But
to
you
move
do
it up
get
too.
to go up too on that one. Yeah. What's it at?
10.
10. Yeah. All right.
What was the name of the Irish myth from which the term jack-o'-lantern came from?
The Irish myth? Oh, something Jack. Spiny Jack. Oh shit. What was it?
It does start with an S.
It's not scary. Something Jack.
Reagan.
Ow! Fuck.
Stingy Jack.
Stingy Jack. Was it Stingy Jack?
Yeah.
Stingy Jack.
You actually covered this.
Yeah, I know. I know. But that was almost 2 years ago when I covered it.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure you'll get this one.
Did
Reagan?
you turn it up?
When was Monster Mash released?
Oh. What year it was released?
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
You know these usually right off the top of your head.
Yeah, I know. That was 1962?
Yes!
Yeah.
Right at the buzzer, you got that one.
That
Yep.
was like, that's a staple in our music for Halloween. So, was that it?
Yep, that's it.
That was a quick
5
segment.
questions.
Five questions, and I got 2 right. Eh,
Now Reagan's all disappointed.
I know, right? You should see her face right now. She looks like that thing from The Ring.
Put it back downstairs.
I'm better at music.
Reagan, say goodbye.
Bye. Next week, I'm doing this again to my dad.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Reagan.
Bye, little boo.
You used to be my favorite daughter. She's my only daughter. I'm better at the music ones than I am the movie ones.
I know.
Huh?
I know.
I don't know why, but I am. It's weird, isn't it?
Well, you're just a movie buff. That's what rules your universe.
A music buff?
Yeah.
You said movie.
Oh, music. Sorry.
Music, yeah.
Music is your life. So.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Is this my other notebook?
Probably. All right. So after so go away. All right. Well, we are going to be covering Belle Gunness for this for the main segment. So hold on to your butts because I have heard some stories about this one.
This one?
But yeah, it's like anything else that you kind of dive into. It's different here and there. But anyway, before we get into that, we're going to break for another little commercial.
Gothendag and fair greetings. I'm borrowing your ears for a second or two to talk about my true crime podcast, Crime Viking. Modern tales of true crime with your host, the Viking. Detailed examinations of cases with the odd rabbit hole thrown in for good measure. Check me out at Crime Viking on TikTok, Instagram and Twitter. Podcast available on Spotify, Apple and all good podcast hosts. Part of the Darkcast Network. Come, join the Oathsworn.
Darkcast Network. Indie pods with a dark side.
Okay, we're back.
Okay.
All right, so Belle Gunness,
Yes.
what brought you into Belle Gunness's world?
One of our listeners requested this a while ago.
Okay. Well, no, it was the other nut job, that one that used to drink blood.
Oh,
That one, she's like, I will never cover that one.
no.
So I forgot the name of that one.
I don't. I can never remember her name, but no, I don't
Yeah.
want to cover that one.
But yeah, somehow Belle Gunness came into our world, and Kathy's like, yeah, I'll do this one. I'm like, okay, have fun.
This one isn't like some of the ones that you covered. There isn't a lot of like gory detail
Mm-hmm.
about it,
Mhm.
so it wasn't as horrible.
Okay.
But we'll start
But
it
it's
out.
still horrible.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely horrible.
I mean, because isn't she considered a Black Widow? Belle Gunness? Did she murder her husbands?
Yes, but I don't think she was ever labeled a Black Widow.
Just a serial killer.
Yes,
Okay. All right.
and we'll get into that more into the story.
Okay.
Comely widow who owns a large farm in one of the finest districts in LaPorte County, Indiana, desires to make the acquaintance of a gentleman equally well provided with view of joining fortunes. No replies by letters considered unless sender is willing to follow answer with personal visit. Triflers need not apply.
Well, isn't that just like all Victorian age triflers?
This was an ad placed in Chicago newspapers in 1905. Many that responded disappeared, never to be heard from again.
Already, right from the get. And you tell me that it's like, oh, that's a downer right from the get go.
These were actual ads that were placed in newspapers. So, born on November 11th, 1859 in Norway, Brunhilde Paulstatter Storseth was the youngest of 8 children. At the young age of 14, she started milking cows at local farms to save money. Her goal was to move to the U.S. There really wasn't a lot on her younger years, like her family and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I really couldn't find much on that.
Not without having to pay an arm and a leg and doing an Ancestry.com search on her.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't gonna do that.
We're poor.
So at the age of 21 in 1881, she made the voyage over to the States. She changed her name to Belle Peterson when she was processed by immigration.
Did they say where she was processed through? Ellis Island, probably, huh?
Probably, but it did not say.
It didn't say.
No.
Yeah.
With her new name all intact, she went to meet her sister Nellie, who had immigrated to Chicago earlier, like several years earlier than her. While staying with her sister and brother-in-law, she found work as a domestic servant. So she was basically a maid, but it didn't last. And I quickly discovered that this was not her forte.
Apparently not.
Standing at 5 feet 7 inches and weighing between 210 and 250 pounds, she was very strong and slightly mannish looking.
Oh, yeah. And I posted a picture of her earlier today on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. She definitely has manly features. That's all I'm going to say right
Okay. She ended up working at a butcher shop cutting up animal carcasses.
Oh, and that's where it starts. Isn't that where most of them start, though? Like, seriously?
I don't.
Well, not, there's always some kind of trauma.
And I
when they're
didn't
younger.
find any like triggers or like that's nothing that was discussed in all the stuff that I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is like, oh, she was beat as a child, or
Yeah.
like I said, there's like nothing of her younger other than the fact that she was the youngest of 8 children and that she worked at local farms milking.
But I mean, like, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
Sorry.
it's just,
Yeah. It's just weird.
she's just
Weird.
evil.
Evil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people are just born evil.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In 1884, she was 24 now. She married Mads Sorensen from Norway. He had a home in Chicago that burned down. With the insurance money, they bought a confectionery store. So they bought a bakery, and that too mysteriously burnt down.
Ooh, you see a little pattern there of insurance fraud, possibly.
They used the insurance money to purchase a home in Austin, Illinois.
I wonder how far away from here that is. Go ahead. Keep going.
I've never looked.
Going. I'll look it up. Go ahead.
In some of the articles I read, it said that the couple were unable to have their own children, so they fostered children. And it doesn't say how many children they actually fostered, but 2 of the 2 children that were under their care died. There was Caroline, who died in 1896, and Alex in 1898. So 2 years apart, these 2 died of colitis, which is an inflammation in your colon, which can easily be hidden and caused by poison.
So poison is the inflammatory cause of this,
right.
Whatever this is.
Right.
Side note, Austin, Illinois is only 108 miles away from here. Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just curious.
Belle convinced Mads that his life insurance policy was too small.
Just, hey, you need a bigger life insurance policy.
Yeah, like
just a heads up.
Yeah. Like, again, there's no like triggers, nothing that was mentioned about triggers or what was bringing all this on. So he took out a larger one. He mysteriously died on the one day that the 2 policies overlapped.
Of course. So who was keeping track of that? Maximum return. Like
seriously.
Got her return on investment. Holy shit.
He was already under a doctor's care for an enlarged heart.
Mm-hmm.
So they just put it down that
he just died of a heart ailment.
Yeah. There was no autopsy done. There was suspicion of strychnine poisoning, but because he was already under the care for an enlarged heart, they didn't bother looking any further into
anything.
it.
Yeah.
However, the neighbors in the area started getting suspicious.
Okay. Of what? Of Belle?
Of Belle.
Okay.
Just in general. I mean, if you think about it, first house burns down, the business burns down.
Husband died, or 2 kids die.
2 kids die.
And then husband dies. So there's 3 right there already.
Mm-hmm.
3, possible murders already.
Right. But none of these were investigated, so she's
kind of in the clear.
Absolutely in the clear on these.
Yeah.
So Belle took the insurance money and bought a farm in LaPorte, Indiana. She kept the neighbors, like she was not a friendly neighbor. She did not want to interact with other people. She actually put up a large fence around her farm with barbed wire, and they were like tall. It doesn't say exactly how tall, but they were like almost like prison walls around her farm just to keep people out. All they really knew about her was that she slaughtered hogs. So this farm that she has now purchased, that's what she does. She slaughters hogs. So she
that's
took her skills,
side gig.
She took her skills from working in the butcher shop. Now has her own farm, and this is what she...
So like she slaughters them for her neighbors, or just her pigs for sale? Probably just her pigs for sale.
It doesn't say. There is information, and then there's like
Nothing.
Information.
Yeah.
So things are very... It's not like the men serial killer where there's so much detail.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually very little.
It's very hard when you're digging into these older female serial killers. Like even Eileen Wuornos, she was one of the more known female serial killers. Like it's hard to dig stuff up.
Right.
You know?
Like I actually checked the book out from the library only to realize that it was completely fiction, 100%. Aside from her name,
everything else was made up.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Talk about taking liberties.
I'm like, that was disappointing.
I did all that reading for nothing.
Well, I didn't. I started, and then I was like, what?
This can't be real.
And so I started looking up reviews on it, and it's like, yeah, it's all...
No,
it was all just made up. They just used her name.
Yeah.
So her, Belle, and 3 foster children, Jenny, Myrtle, and Lucy, moved in 1901 to LaPorte, Indiana. In 1902, Belle married Peter Gunness. Peter was a recent widow with 2 young daughters. Again, it doesn't really give much information how young these girls were, but I think they were both under the age of 5. Within a week of being married, the youngest one died.
Again, under mysterious circumstances, I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like nothing was, it doesn't even say how she died. It just says she died.
Wow.
So now we have 4.
Yeah, there's 4. I'm keeping tally, don't worry.
Okay. 8 months later, Peter dies under suspicious circumstances. Belle told authorities that a sausage grinder fell from a shelf he had been sitting under and smashed in the back of his skull.
Oh, yeah, it just nonchalantly, boop, fell off the damn shelf, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
now, a grinder is this huge metal contraption.
Well, back then you had to do it by hand, so you had
that
that hand
crank on
to
it. Like, and they were heavy. They were solid.
Yeah, they were.
This wasn't just something that
Yeah,
is going to slip off a shelf unless it's like really...
unless you move it. Like, unless you push it.
Unless you purposely like set it just so on the edge of the shelf that it's going to fall.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm not buying that story.
No, that's what she told people, is that it fell off the shelf and smashed in the back of his head.
Yeah. Convenient.
Jenny, one of the foster daughters, actually went to the authorities to report a different story, but they didn't believe her and they sent her home. She told the authorities that Belle actually smashed in his head with a...
Rolling pin?
No.
Oh.
A cleaver. A meat cleaver.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
A meat cleaver?
Yeah.
Oh. How does that even look?
The same?
Yeah, like...
They probably didn't even look at it that closely.
Just took her word for it.
Probably.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And a lot of things, too, like, depending on which article you're reading, it gives different stories. So you have to really...
Yeah, weed out whatever.
You have to read multiple situations to actually kind of piece it all together. Because a lot of them don't even mention Jenny, and then they do mention Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, poor little Jenny, she went to the authorities to report this, and they were like, whatever, go home, girl. We ain't got time for you. 3 years later, Jenny disappears.
Isn't that convenient? So there's 6.
Belle told neighbors that were brave enough to ask what happened to Jenny that she was sent to finishing school in California.
Never heard from again.
Nope. Poor little Jenny. And because there's no
she's
real
good
foster.
records. Yeah.
In some of the articles I read, Jenny came to Belle because her parents couldn't afford to keep her. They didn't want to keep her around, so they just gave her away.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably no records of Jenny even going to Belle. And it never really says how Myrtle and Lucy come to live with her. They just say they're foster.
Mm-hmm.
But Jenny, it did say that she was just given to her. Peter and Belle had one son named Philip that was born in 1903 after Peter had passed away. So Belle was pregnant when she killed her husband.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Ugh.
Like, this isn't even like 15 minutes into it, and it's already like, wait, what? Like,
yeah, I know. This is just crazy. Just everything that goes on. But because she moved from Norway here, she changed her identity because she went from Brunhilde to Belle. She got married in Chicago.
Moved.
Then she moves to Indiana, so nobody really knows anything about this woman, and she's just getting away with
all kinds of shit.
All right. Being widowed a second time and having a farm to run with only children for help, Belle started running ads to 3 weekly Norwegian language newspapers throughout the Midwest. So she started sending off these ads, like the one that I read at the beginning. Basically, they're Lonely Hearts ads, but with strict guidelines.
Very strict guidelines.
They communicate by letter to begin with. The person who is communicating with her must be willing to come travel and meet her in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
When they come to Indiana, they have to bring cash.
They have to have cash on them.
Yes.
That sounds like a a motivator for me, or to me, I should say.
In the meantime, Belle hired drifters who would work for a while and then apparently move on. Ray Lamphere was hired in 1907. Many say Ray was more than just a hired hand, that he was also Belle's regular lover.
So he was banging the boss.
Yeah. He seemed to be like the only drifter that was there for an extended period of time. Nobody knows how many suitors responded to Belle's advertisements. Belle would require that any potential suitor coming to meet her must also bring money, at least $1,000 or more. And that's a lot of money back then.
Back then, that was a lot of money.
A lot of money. They had to bring the money to prove that they were of wealth and that they would be able to financially support her farm.
So she was looking for somebody to support her and the farm.
Yes.
And, okay.
I don't know if this was her game plan all along, was to just get somebody to come out and support her. I don't know what she thought they would do with their farms. If the first one came out and she was like, oh, this is easy money, let me just take him down, take his money, and
that's probably that. Yeah.
And move on, because the neighbors wouldn't know.
No.
One such suitor was Andrew Helglian. I can't say his last name. I tried. Helglian. He came to meet Belle in January 1908. After several weeks of staying with Belle, Ray Lamphere, the hired hand, became jealous because this guy was staying an extended stay.
He had the hots for old Belle there.
Yeah, he had really hoped that the two of them were going to get married.
Yeah.
And run this farm together. Belle fired him in February 1908 for trespassing and hired Joe Maxon.
Ooh, ouch. Got the old kick curb there, huh?
Yeah, and when Andrew came to visit Belle, she instructed him to bring $3,000 and to make sure for his safety that it was sewn into his clothes, and told nobody about the money that he was bringing out to the farm.
So nobody knew about that except for her.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. Sounds a little fishy and sketchy to me, but okay.
After staying there for a while, Belle encouraged Andrew to have more money sent out to Indiana. So Andrew was having money, wrote out a check from his bank back in Aberdeen, and they were going to cash it at the First National Bank in LaPorte. Belle and Andrew went to the bank together to cash the check. The bank and Andrew encouraged Belle to only withdraw part of the money, to leave some of it in the bank for safekeeping, which, any bank, that was a big amount back then.
Yeah.
So that was really going to put a strain on them to withdraw $3,000, and just for her safekeeping, keep some at the bank. But Belle insisted on all the money coming back in cash.
Okay.
The next day, Andrew disappeared. He left.
Okay. So, two under mysterious. I mean, because honestly, the other one just left too without never being seen again. He
Which
was
one?
fired. Her lover, right?
He's seen again.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he comes
All right.
back into the picture.
All right. So this one just poof, gone.
Right.
Okay.
There are more, but they don't know names. They don't know how many. This one, they just happen to know the name, and they know who he is and where he came from, because his brother gets suspicious.
And rightfully so, family should. So there's 7 right now. We're keeping tally.
Okay, you're keeping tab?
Yeah, so
okay.
there's 7.
So
possibly.
Andrew's brother, we're just going to call him A because I can't pronounce his name, became concerned when Andrew did not return to South Dakota. A found letters to Andrew from Belle. So Andrew had kept the letters probably in the desk.
Yeah. And they normally did keep letters like that back then.
When his brother got suspicious that he didn't come home, he started snooping around and found all these letters. That's how he knew about Belle. He wrote to Belle and the First National Bank. The bank confirmed that Andrew had been there. Belle did as well, but she stuck to the story that he left. They went and cashed the check and went back to the farm, and he gathered his things and he left. A would not let it rest and kept inquiring about Andrew. I don't know if some of these other ones didn't have strong family ties, or people just didn't care, or just figured something happened on the way of traveling. But Andrew's brother was persistent. That's why we know more about Andrew than any of the other ones. Because he was like, something is not right here.
Yeah, this isn't my brother,
Andrew at one point actually comes out and helps to look for not Andrew. Andrew's brother actually comes out to help look for him.
Oh, jeez.
On April 28th, 1908, at 4 a.m., Joe Maxson, the second drifter that had been hired on, woke to the smell of smoke. The house was on fire. He tried to wake the family but got no response, so he ran to town to get the fire department to come help put out the fire. Later that day, the bodies of the family were found in the basement. 3 of the remains were clearly children, around 11, 9, and 5.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The 4th body was a woman's headless corpse.
Headless corpse.
Headless corpse.
Yeah, that was not accidental. Sorry.
No,
Just
it wasn't. The body found in the basement was shorter and weighed about 150 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And we already discussed that Belle weighs closer to 250 pounds.
Yeah, she's a hefty woman.
Yes. So already there's this discrepancy. The head is missing. And I guess it was very well known in the area that Belle wore dentures that were anchored to her tooth, her real tooth in her mouth. The head was missing because it would have its original teeth in it, and they would be able to identify the body by the face, but by the headless woman, there was Belle's teeth, even her real tooth. Like she ripped
it out of her head,
ripped it right out, and threw it on the ground next to his body to make it look like it was her.
Sorry, just teeth.
May 5th, more bodies were found by searchers. So the house was on fire. They got it out. They found the bodies in the basement. Originally, it was said that they were trying to escape the fire and went down into the basement. Why, I don't know. Why they didn't go out the door, I don't know. Some dismembered. Okay, so on May 5th, the bodies were found by other searchers. Like they started
really looking, digging
Andrew's
into it.
brother came to town wanting to find out what happened with Andrew. And he started seeing like these weird depressions in the ground.
Yeah.
And he was like, what's going on with this? So they started digging and they started finding more bodies. Some were dismembered. Some were wrapped in gunny sacks and doused with lye. And some were just reduced to skeletons. What was his name? Maxson? Joe Maxson?
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew's brother were actually the ones that found Andrew's remains. But all that they could find were his hands, his feet, and his head wrapped in a gunny sack. They have no idea what happened to the torso, his legs, or his arms. It was just his hands, his feet, and his head.
Jesus Christ.
How upsetting would that be to find your brother's
remains and not a full body intact, just pieces of your brother? Like, what the fuck?
Seriously, like many believe that if Andrew's brother hadn't been persistent, she might have continued
doing what she was doing.
Right,
yeah.
Because he kept being so persistent, it set all these other actions into play.
Mm-hmm.
And she started covering her tracks.
Jesus.
The final body count is subject to debate. Guinness Book of World Records, without stating its source, credited Belle with 16 known victims and another possible 12.
Holy fuck. That's 28 victims.
Right. And they actually stopped digging up the farm because it was 40 acres. They're like, we can't dig up a complete 40 acres looking for remains. And when they did start digging, crowds and crowds of people would start showing up to watch.
Yeah, there always is.
Wanting to see what was going on. So they were having to keep all these people back, dig, and then find these remains. But they were like, enough. We can't dig up a whole 40 acres looking for these remains. Local coroner's report listed, in addition to the basement bodies, 10 male victims, 2 females, and an unspecified quantity of human bone fragments.
Wow.
So that's what was in the local coroner's actual report.
Yeah.
So after finding all of that, they just stopped. They were like, enough.
Yeah.
Enough. We can't keep doing. can't keep doing this. The male victims were found buried together in the hog pen.
Okay.
They weren't fed to the hogs, but
they were just buried in the hog pen.
Right. And the females had been found in a nearby garden patch. Like there was almost remorse about their passing, but not really.
But just the extremes on that. Like males were, well, if you sit down and you look at it, males were treated like shit. Right?
By Belle, they were, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she treated the males like shit.
She treated everybody like shit.
And then the females, she had a little bit more sympathy for, but
a little bit,
a
right?
lot.
Yeah. So they say 6 were positively ID'd. There was Jenny, who disappeared, who had been sent off to finishing school.
Yep.
She was buried in the garden. There was Eric and Olaf. They were both farmhands that just...
Poof, gone.
Yep. John Moo and Ole Budsberg were farmers or possible potential suitors. It doesn't say how they were able to identify those. And then there was Andrew.
Jesus Christ.
The other female that was buried with Jenny is Jane Doe. They have no clue who this is or why she's there. None.
Yeah.
She's just completely unknown. Yeah, there's those people that were identified. And then all these remains, they have no idea who they belong to. Families started showing up wanting to know if they were their missing loved ones. But they had no way of...
It sounds like another case that we've covered. Geen. Families were like, is my loved one in there? I need to know. Same concept.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
But they didn't have a way of identifying these bone fragments. So
nope.
People weren't getting the closure that they wanted.
And never will, unfortunately.
I can only imagine like the circus that was like taking place at this time where all these people are just bombarding this farm wanting to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They actually opened like a souvenir shop.
Oh, God.
And we're selling, it doesn't say what type of souvenirs, but they were selling souvenirs.
Souvenirs from it.
Yeah. Have no clue what it was. I don't even want to imagine.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me none, though, because there are people out there that'll pay for stuff like that.
Absolutely. So I said that Ray didn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. And there was very conflicting information as to how this all played out. Big time. Conflicting information. As far as the final, the fire at the farm, how this all plays out. Some say that they saw Ray running from the farm that morning. He was arrested and charged with arson and murder. They say his jealousy of Andrew and being fired got the better of him. But more likely, Belle herself was the one who torched the farm. Ray's case went to jury on November 1908. He was convicted of arson charges only. He was not convicted of any murder,
else.
Just arson. He was in jail for, again, conflicting stories, 1 to 2 years for the arson. And while he was there, he was very adamant in claiming that Belle was still alive, very much still alive. On April 28th, he said once Belle had set fire to the house, he drove her to the railway station at Stillwell, Indiana. The plan was once Belle was safely away and resettled, that she would send for Ray. But she never did.
Never did.
No, never heard anything else from her. One sheriff officer says that whole part of the story was completely made up by a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
That Belle was dead. She died in the fire. She was in the basement. And that this was completely made up by a journalist. However, it doesn't make sense to me because clearly that was not the body that was in the basement.
Yeah.
Ray credited Belle with 49 murders, netting more than $100,000.
Holy shit.
From her victims between 1903 and 1908. That part is the same in everything that I read. Over $100,000.
Good Jesus. Well, yeah, because her suitors needed to have money when they came, and God knows how many suitors she went through.
Right?
there's no record.
There's no information of who these people are.
Yeah. Wow.
And Ray states that the basement victim had been found at a saloon, hired for the evening, and murdered to serve as a stand-in.
Repeat that for me.
Okay, they found the 3 children. They know who the children are.
Yeah.
And then the body that was found in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Ray says that she was found at a saloon, so she was a working girl.
Mm-hmm.
They paid her to come for the evening.
And they murdered her and used
put
her
her
body
as the stand-in. And that when Belle fled from the farm, she took the head with her so they could not identify her.
So this is thought out, big time thought out.
That's what it definitely sounds like. And there was even reports of other women that fit Belle's description being arrested
Mm-hmm.
in like the Chicago area and Indiana area. There was 2 different reports of this woman being spotted and fitting Belle's description, being arrested, and then they were quickly found that this was not Belle, and they were let go.
Yeah, yeah.
So nobody ever heard from her again. Nobody knows when she dies, how she died, what happened to her.
Wow. That's messed up. I mean, just alone in that story there, I think I counted 11 or 12 that they know.
That
that for sure she did.
And then here's Ray, who he actually ended up dying in prison, I think from heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time he was very adamant that Belle was guilty, that she killed all these people. She was taking them in. Like, one other report also said that when Maxon, the other hired hand, came on, that he saw and questioned all these trunks, like travel trunks, that they would use back then in the house.
Yeah.
But he would never get an answer, and he would just be told to leave the main house. He's not
get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said that there was numerous trunks around the house. So people would come and she would do off with them and just leave their trunks sitting there.
Jesus Christ.
But could you imagine being the kids that were living in this house and all the things that they had seen, all these people, all these men coming to visit? Like, one report says that she would invite these people to come to the farm to meet. She would feed them, sleep with them, drug them, and then basically treat them like hogs and slaughter them. And then disperse of their remains across the farm.
Jesus fuck. No way.
So all you people answering those Lonely Heart ads out there,
don't do it.
Be careful.
Don't.
Do some background.
Yeah, they have background searches for a reason.
She's the reason why.
Right? Holy shit. Like, I can't fathom this. Like, what?
I want to know what triggered this. What made her
do this?
Right.
Like, I know money is a motivator. I get that.
But I don't think I could ever
murdering people for that alone. There's got to be more to this. What caused her when she was younger to do this? You know what I mean?
I have no idea.
What crazy thought went through her head saying, I can do this?
From the little bit that we know about her younger years, she was the youngest of 8 children. They were probably fairly poor. I had trouble pinpointing what her father did, because some say he was a failed merchant. Some say he was a farm hand. Some say that he was a welder.
Okay.
Like, there was a lot of discrepancies on who her father actually was, or what he did, rather.
Yeah.
So trying to find anything, but they probably were not very well off.
No.
If by the age of 14, she's already working on farms, trying to save money to get out of there.
That speaks volumes.
So that's probably, from what I know, just from what I have looked up, money is her motivator. Money is her end game.
She didn't want to be poor her whole life. So let's do the scheme, which other cases I have read people did that. I think your buddy H.H. Holmes was one of those.
Right.
It was all about the money, and
But I wonder the first time that she did this, did she think this out before the first guy got there, or was the first guy just kind of an accident?
And
Like he irritated her and she accidentally killed him, and then she's like, whoa,
I can get this out of it.
I got all this money. He's gone and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Can I do this again?
Yeah.
Like,
but all that to stage her own death too.
That is extreme.
That's huge. That was a thought out plot.
And she had to think of that. Like, she had to have been already plotting this
A long time in advance.
right for this much detail, this much information.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds like it went very quickly. That between Joe starting, her second husband dying, like it seems like it moved fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So she had to have been thinking this out. And they even mentioned in one article that before the farm went up in flames, that like 2 days prior to that, she had gotten she had set up a will in life insurance for herself.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking, nothing else was ever mentioned about it. And I'm like, what was the purpose in this? Because she won't be able to claim the money on it.
But if whoever the person that was getting paid out to,
Her accomplice, possibly.
or she made up a false name, already had everything made up, and lo and behold, she gets the money for it. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I want to try to find more at this
Like-
point, because I'm like, what was the point in setting up a will and getting life insurance? Because back then, my first thought would be like, okay, who's collecting this money?
Yeah.
She didn't have friends. She didn't have.
She had family,
She had family, but it doesn't sound like she talked to any of them.
Yeah.
Like it sounded like when she was living with Nellie and her brother-in-law that it was an uncomfortable situation.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't give much detail, but it just sounded like
Yeah.
it was uncomfortable.
They weren't close.
No.
So.
And none of her other siblings were mentioned in
Yeah.
anything. So
Lots of unanswered questions on
there
that one.
is. But geez Louise.
Crazy.
Don't go to
Nuts.
hog farms, y'all.
Don't. Yeah, because there's another one up in Canada. If you haven't heard, it's called the Picton Farms.
We'll cover that one later. So shh.
No, we will not. But yeah, no, that's crazy. And that it was really really when you're looking at it, it's a short span of time.
Yeah. I mean,
who knows if she was doing it prior? But
exactly.
But these ones or after,
Exactly. Like she could have up moved
and started up somewhere else.
Exactly. Nobody put connected the dots.
Especially back then. Nope. You would never even know.
Yeah, because like local law enforcement communicating together, that's a fairly recent.
Yeah, they didn't start doing that until the 90s, early 2000s.
I know it was before that.
When they actually really started communicating.
Well, when they got
like
their
a
network, but I
database.
think they started communicating a little bit more before that, but like 60s and 70s. But communication was slow, snail mail.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of them didn't. They wanted the glory in finding that, so they didn't really share either. So it was that whole male stigma. My cock is bigger than yours. So, but yeah, no, that's
what I could find on Belle.
All right.
And like I said, there's a lot of, depending on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So I had to read a bunch of different articles and try to piece a puzzle.
Yeah, and you had to put it all together, and yeah, no, that's good thing I'm not a Lonely Hearts.
But I don't understand, like Ray, he clearly knew what was going on, and he seemed perfectly fine with it, but was never convicted of any of the murders.
No.
Because the only one that they could possibly tie him to would have been the kids and Belle.
Yeah.
In the fire, but he was only convicted of
just
arson.
the arson.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the local coroner was just like, she died in the fire. Like, legit. They were just like.
Just left it at that?
Yeah, they didn't look into it any further. Even though there was this evidence that this was obviously not.
Well, yeah. If
Belle.
fucking you find a body with its head cut off and you can't find the head, but you can find the dentures, that's a little red flag for me.
The person, she was like 5 to 6 inches shorter. Yes,
Yeah.
I know her head was missing, but still.
Yeah,
She was still 5 to 6 inches shorter. She was over 100 pounds lighter.
Yeah, nothing's. Nothing even ties it even close to being her.
And it doesn't say either how the children died. Like, did she take them down to the basement and poison them? Did she? It doesn't say.
They just say they found the bodies in the basement.
Right, the 3 children. So it would have been Philip,
Mm-hmm.
would have been 5, then Lucy and Myrtle.
Yeah.
Would have been the other 2 in the basement.
Lots of unanswered questions. A lot of people dropped the ball. They didn't put 2 and 2 together. They just sounds like they just wanted to sweep it under the rug and be done with it.
Well, this area was probably super embarrassed too that this was happening.
You got to think back then. This was a very rural area. Like, seriously.
And she was not friendly.
So yeah, just be done with it. She's gone by, so. All right. Well, that was the story of Belle Gunness.
Yep, that's what I found.
And, yeah. It's crazy.
Leaves you all warm and cozy, doesn't it?
Right? Yeah, it just makes me want to curl up next to a fire and read a good book. So.
Go read a good romance.
Yeah, bromance.
Or bromance. I said romance.
Oh, I thought you said bromance. What?
I said,
trying to tell me something over there?
I said romance.
All right. Anyway, one more time for the fans out there. Where can we be found at?
allhallowsevepodcast.com. Check out our latest episodes. Our merchandise is up there. You can shoot us a request. If there's a story you'd like us to research, I can add it to our list. And at some point, we'll get it covered. Because this one was requested quite some time ago.
Yeah, this one was a little over a year ago. Somebody asked about this one.
But I did it. You're welcome.
Yeah. So
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, just let us know. Shoot us an email. And hey, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Absolutely.
It really helps.
It makes us put out there for more people to see us.
Yep. And I did find out this week that we are on YouTube. Who knew?
There is no video, y'all.
There's no video of us, but we are on YouTube.
You can go and listen to us.
Yep, you can listen to us. You can't see us, but
I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be up on YouTube. Sorry.
Nope. And apparently, I started a YouTube channel a while back, and I didn't even know about it. So there we go. But yeah, you can find us there too. But don't forget to like and subscribe and share us with your friends.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. Well, with that.
Wait.
Okay.
What do you call a cleaning skeleton?
A cleaning skeleton? Oh, I don't know.
A grim sweeper.
That was cute.
Stay spooky, my friends.